Ooh. Hello.
Hello.
Everyone is here. It is time for Mumamo, which around these parts stands for Mutants Masterminds Monday. I don't know what it stands for in your neck of the woods, but if it ain't that, then it's something weird.
Then you're in the wrong place.
Then you're in the wrong place, or you're in the right place to learn something new about Mutants and Masterminds, the world's only superhero TTRPG. Now, friends in the chat, can you hear me? I usually front load the "can you hear me" part. Good, excellent.
Right.
Thank you, friends. Chat is bumping as per the norm.
I like the confidence that you had, Troy, to just assume that you would be audible because
I
we've
know,
been doing
right?
this for so long.
I'm really taunting the fates with that. But yeah, so, it's another Mumemo, and today we're talking about Valiant. And a second topic, which kind of threw some people, the Paragon Archetype. There's no such thing as Valiant Paragon.
Yeah, not so much, really.
Not so much.
Yeah.
You by now have heard the two handsomest voices in all the lands, honestly. Look at these two guys. Hey, boys.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well, thank you.
I'm alive.
Oh, that's better than the alternative.
It absolutely is, and especially for a show as important as this. I mean, just generally, not that this particular program is more important than any other Mumamo we have done. It's just Mumamo is really important.
Mm-hmm. A happy Pride Miss on to you, Squire.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Very last day of Pride Month.
Let's see. What else are people saying in here? Nate Robbins said, Troy, come out and play. Yay, a little creepy, but here I am. Let's see. There's some new cool stuff coming out for Valiant's comics soon. Yeah, heard about that.
Indeed.
We did.
Yeah, they very kindly rebooted their whole universe as our game was coming out.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that us licensing a setting causes it to be rebooted, but...
if track record means anything.
Right.
I always love it when I come across a Green Ronin book in the wild. Sort of they're talking about DC Adventures, I believe. Is that what it was called? Yeah. Love that. Way back in the day, I was going to be working on a TTRPG called DC Universe. The parallels are striking.
Indeed.
Let's see. Who else we got? Yes, Mastermind Apook says, happy Mumamo, super fam. And it is a super fam, for sure.
It is a super fam.
Yeah, honestly. And the last day of Pride Miss Mumamo gave to me this program. Now, don't kill my character. They're singing. We'll probably dig into that here in a little bit later in the program. There's a tie-in. But yeah, Alex, do you want to dig into what's cooking with Valiant?
Yeah, so we have finished the text on all of the Valiant books. Worlds of Valiant is off at the editor and is expected back in a couple of weeks. And once it comes back from the editor, it'll go into layout. Then we'll put a bunch of that amazing Valiant art in it, and then we'll be ready to go.
Nice.
Worlds of Valiant is a packed book, I must say.
How many pages is it?
Well, that's not determined until it's laid out, unfortunately.
Yes.
So, in our universe, for folks who are not familiar on the development side of things, although Alex often does paginations for the books, we pretty much relate to drafts entirely in terms of word count. It's just how many words long the thing is, so far as that goes.
And gotcha. It's 130,006 words.
Yes.
And 6 words.
It's 6 words.
Now, is there ever a cause for the number to expand or contract as it goes through the layout process?
Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. I love the chat. Just a little bit behind the stream. Just a tiny. It's great.
Devious answer to that question is absolutely not.
Yeah, no, yeah. Let's not even, yeah. Du-du-du-du-du. This is true. This is great. You should start writing some marketing copy, Claude. It'll be the most
Mhm.
tender version of the pre-latest reboot for Valiant. The final word, nearly,
Indeed.
almost, and 6. That is correct. Or 1 billion. Yeah, I like that number too.
Yeah.
Chelsea. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, so other things to updates for Valiant. Other things that people should know. Any other details or surprises or?
I have put together the outline for the player and the GM journals, and I think that there's a
Ooh.
lot of really cool information in there for GMs to latch
Mhm.
onto. Both of them are in the 30-page area
Okay.
with a cool section for a neat character sheet for your character, followed by sections for like in play. So what your current conditions of damage are, how many hero points you have, and what you can use hero points and extra efforts for. Spread for your backstory. A section for popular power stunts that you like to do, or if you have ritualists or
Oh,
gadgets, so you can pre-build some of your rituals and some of your gadgets.
Right.
Sections for your allies, sections for your rogues gallery, stat blocks for your HQs and hideaways, and
fun.
locations for your session notes. So
Nice.
Nice. Oh yeah. Place for your vehicles. That's cool. This is really. I'm excited about that. I love that
yeah.
that stuff.
Mhm.
The
Super
GM
cool.
one I'm most excited about, though.
Yeah.
because,
Indeed.
we went a little all out. There's we're planning course and opening page for your series title, which is the name of your campaign, your power level, your players and PC names, who the big bad is, the main villain, their motivation, the overarching threat. 2 spreads for your session 0 breakdown with questions, character creation parameters, space for your notes, a Veils and Lines document, and then a few spreads about how to world build the world outside your window. So how to do
Ooh.
like a questionnaire to walk through building a superhero setting,
Mhm.
questions that you want to consider, like how prevalent are law enforcement, what's the relationship between superheroes and the public, all that sort of fun questionnaire to walk yourself through as you're building your world out.
Right.
How
then-
cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jeez, the chat is cracking me up.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. I did want to ask, where did I see that? Sorry. I really don't know the answer to this, and I should. It's only because I'm a little addled. But can people pick it up now, or are they kind of wait? They need to wait
Well,
until we.
generally speaking, our pre-orders will be when the products are going to be ready to go to print. So until the Valiant books are finished in layout, they probably won't be available for regular pre-order.
Oh, I'm looking at here. I've got a link to.
But
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say,
yeah.
Go ahead, Troy. You might.
I've got a link to the backer kit pre-order.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, however, there may be an opportunity to go to the backer kit and basically do essentially late pledges to pre-order.
I dropped the link in chat. So if you're listening to this on demand, make sure that you pop over to the page and click on the active or live chat tab, and it'll pop up, and you'll be able to go there yourself. Raymond asks, do we have any estimation for when the PDF will be released to the Kickstarter backers?
That is up to production at this point.
Yeah.
It's out of our hands. Hopefully, the layout will go fairly quickly because we don't have to order art for the book. We can simply choose existing Valiant art to add to the book. So that should speed up the production process some, so far as that goes.
Yeah, we want it out as soon as possible. So
of course.
Understand that we're working as fast as we can, and we get to skip the order art step. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, listen, if you're a fan, why buy just one? Each fan should be buying at least 5, I think. Christmas is right around the corner. Awesome. Cool stuff. That about covers it, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Have we valianted the updates? Oh,
Largely.
Oh, and the last thing in the GM journal is that there's space to have session notes for 20 adventures. So if you want to track how many power points you're giving away, other rewards they earn at the end of sessions, space to write down your cool memories and moments, or to jot down quick recap notes, all that fun stuff.
That's a healthy number.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about, remember in grade school when you had those little paper things and you opened it and you closed it and you're like, pick a number, pick a color. And you can kind of use that to build a hero. Kind of pick a color, pick a villain, is that a good idea? You like that?
I think it would be a fun thing to try.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. Could you imagine? You love
it's like rolling a dice, right?
Sure it is. Let's see. Will the character folio in the GM journal be 3E compatible?
They are intended to be basically M&M agnostic, so that you can use them. Yeah, I've got the rank chart listed in here, but I know in the Valiant Adventures book, we're hoping to have both the metric and the standard rank chart. So,
yeah,
for people like me who don't know what metric is.
So Pook asked about the tariff situation interfering with the project. We kind of don't exactly know what's going on as far as, because it's a little mercurial.
Indeed.
But
Indeed. I would recommend folks check out Chris Pramus's forthcoming update on our 5th season Kickstarter, where he talks about that very subject. In fact, but the tariff issue is a moving target.
Yeah.
So far as that goes, for folks who are not aware, a lot of printing, particularly hardcover books, is done internationally. And we have a number of printing partners for Green Ronin that we work with, but we have to be very aware of where we think the tariffs are going to be.
Yeah.
And when that printing window is going to be, and most especially because once that process is in motion, we have to be very aware of the time from which the book is sent to print until the time it arrives in port.
Yeah.
Because the situation can change. And if a book that we ordered takes, say, 8 weeks to print, and then shows up and the tariffs have increased by 50%, we have a significant problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a real guessing game in a lot of ways, and we're doing our best to navigate that, but there unfortunately isn't a lot of guidance, and there's really no knowing.
So to date, no. In the future, who could say? And when we know any particular information with specificity, we'll let you know.
Of course.
In the meantime, we're just sort of lamenting the chaos.
Yeah, we're doing our best with the situation as it is.
Absolutely.
We really love how much of the outside world is affecting our fun game.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. Get out of here, real world problems. We are role playing. I like this. Here we go. Those were called cootie catchers back in my day. The little origami.
Yeah.
Folded.
I remember those.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see what else we got here.
They probably have an app for that now, I assume.
Probably. I mean, geez. Whack attacks? Oh, whack attacks. Got you. I need to be careful not to read this without looking at it first. Because I could just be reading anything. King Snarf. Good. Excellent. King Snarf, enjoy your tacos.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Tacos are delicious.
They are delicious. And Pook thanks us for enduring. We can only endure with your
support. With your help.
With your help.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's do this.
Speaking of enduring.
Yeah, let's talk about the Paragon Archetype in your M&M, we're changing gears. This is the changing music. Pull out your cootie catchers. It's time to play.
It's time to play. Who wants to be a Paragon?
Right.
Yes, exactly.
And this is in honor of Superman coming out soon.
Troy's monologue is entirely external.
It is. Yeah, it really is. It happens. It's really day and
It's
date.
in real time.
In real time. When you get it, it is just fresh off the presses so much as they are. Yeah. Yeah, and as we're, changing gears and moving into a more, I told people that this show is super, man. And want to make sure that you all head over wherever you are, like and subscribe, give us the star, the thumb, the, whatever it is, give it. We want it. And, while you're there, YouTube's kind of strange because it's got the live chat. And then there's the responses to the video as it lives on demand. Drop a question, or say how to do, or remark on, something that snagged your brain, and we will respond. I might even pin your comment to the top of that video in perpetuity. You'll be a star. So
Pinning.
Yeah, there's a pinning to be beginning, and so do that, please, and enjoy. Now, and also, I want to remind folks that, we are broadcasting on a new platform. That platform is called Moonbeam, and we're slowly building up the kind of gumption, I guess, if the momentum. But if you aren't over there, if you don't have an account, click the link that is in the live chat. And you will be you'll be a part of our realm. You'll be our buddy. And they're getting to the point now that right now they're in beta, so they're just testing. And so we got in at the early beta, so we were kind of had a little early start. But you can join now, and when you click that link, it lets them know how cool we are because you can just sign up. So do that and do it now. Great, awesome. Okay, so now the Paragon Archetype.
Yeah. Who's looking forward to a movie premiere in July?
Ooh.
Me. We got our tickets already. I'll be there opening day. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Okay, so clearly iconic.
Yes.
The penultimate superhero. Not the first, right? Not the first superhero?
Arguably not. Characters like Dr. Occult in Detective Comics preceded Superman in appearance by a matter of months, but Superman is definitely one of the big archetypes of the genre. Arguably kicked off the whole thing.
And you can just envision in your mind what Superman. Everyone knows what he looks like. Like he's that iconic look to him. This latest David Corenswet is a handsome devil, a handsome dude.
Yep.
Nathan Fillion's in this movie.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
As Green Lantern.
Under that wig, yeah.
Bradley Cooper as Jor-El is the dad.
Bradley Cooper's playing Jor-El?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know.
That is.
Right?
Bradley Cooper's not old enough to be the dad.
Yeah, they must be doing something, putting him in some deep Krypton.
Hey, when I got to the point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe where I realized I was the same age as Aunt May,
Bradley Cooper's 50.
Oh, really?
He is most definitely old enough to play the dad. Because keep in mind in this, Alex, Superman is either your age or younger.
He is. David Cornswood is a year younger than me, and that messed me up.
Right.
I'm still a little messed up about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not
used,
the adult.
Get used to that feeling. It gets really bad when they cast a guy to play Doctor Who who's younger than you.
That's rough. That is rough. You know who else I like in the cast? Alan. Alan, is it Tudyk?
Yeah, he's a brilliant character actor.
He's so great. I fell in love with him. Of course, Firefly, right? And have just followed him. He's just really just an absolute powerhouse. He's just so great, funny, hilarious, all that good stuff. And then also just a great actor too.
Indeed.
A lot of people I do not know here.
I love Alan Tudyk as Resident Alien.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun show.
And of course, my favorite Alan Tudyk project, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which I've written about extensively in the Transgressive Horrors collections by Christopher McGough.
Nice.
Metamorpho, is that the bad guy?
No, Metamorpho's another hero.
Oh, this gentleman I do not know. I'm not going to pop a picture up.
The
Just
Element Man.
Anthony Kerrigan,
Mm-hmm.
who has no facial hair, eyebrows, or hair on his head. It's an interesting look, for sure. Let's see. Is there someone in here named Engineer? Is that a character, or is that just like?
Yep.
Ah.
Engineer is a DC character these days. He used to be an Image character with the Authority.
How is Nicholas Hoult old enough to play Lex Luthor? Come on.
Telling you, man.
Jeez.
I'm not to make myself sad. How old is Nicholas Hoult? Oh, he's still older than me. That's fine. Okay, Lex Luthor could be older than me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, older than me, too. Let's see. What do we have going on in the chat? Also, Paragons have the best lines, like the brave postal workers, no matter what, will deliver the mail of justice to the front door of evil. That's true.
It's true.
That is very true about the Paragons. So we've got Superman. Are there other? The Paragon archetype is that sort of, is it uniquely American?
Well, only in as much as like comic books are uniquely American.
Okay.
I think it's kind of spread beyond that. I mean, Superman originally, took a lot of inspirations from both just sort of the imagery of the, sort of circus strongman, particularly in terms of the tights and, all of that. And he was also very heavily inspired by things like the character from the novel Gladiator, who was a Superman, of a character who had superhuman strength and durability and all of that. And of course, there have been mythical characters with all of those qualities. But I think that Superman was the first who sort of brought together all of those unique elements, and of course was such a sensation that there were countless Paragon characters within the space of just a couple of years, because every publisher of comic books wanted a character like that.
Interesting. Okay, and so what other popular media character? I mean, is Shazam a Paragon?
Definitely a Paragon. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
The character now known as Shazam.
Yes. In fact, so much so that like so many characters inspired at that time, National Comics sued the publishers of Captain Marvel, but they actually lost the lawsuit because it was just deemed that the character was sufficiently different.
Interesting. Very interesting. So I forget what the Alpha Flight, the main Canadian guy. I think he was killed.
You're thinking of Guardian, probably, who was one of the original leader of Alpha Flight.
Yes.
Guardian has some Paragon-like qualities.
Okay.
He's much more of a energy controller in M&M terms. He's with the fact that he's also a battle suit, because he's a flying guy with a force field who throws energy blasts, rather than being super strong and invulnerable, and all of that.
Well, and here I am being sexist about the whole thing. I didn't even think about. Oh shoot! I don't know what I just did there, but sorry if I did something. Wonder Woman.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
So that's of course. Thank you, Michael, for jarring me out of my misogyny. But other Paragons that people might not initially think of, or that they should be reminded are Paragons as far as those characters go.
Yeah, I guess that comes down to: do you think of Paragon as the power set, or Paragon as the mentality?
That's true. That's true. And if you're talking about the character who is sort of the paragon of heroism, you widen your field a good
Yeah.
deal. But at the same time, you also leave out a number of characters who have the what we can call the Paragon power set, but not that sort of ethos.
I see.
The notion of what if Superman but bad, has been a thing for a very long time.
Sure.
And comes and goes in waves. So we've got no lack of Paragon-like characters who are certainly not heroes by any stretch of the imagination.
Got it. Okay. Well, very interesting. So now I'm kind of wrapping my mind around that. As
Somebody said Ted from Ted Lasso, and yes, you are correct.
Sure. Yep.
In that universe,
in terms
Ted
of that
Lasso is the Superman
ethos, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's great. That was the Ted Lasso. Is it? He was an SNL guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jason Sudeikis.
That's it. Yeah. Love that guy. All right.
I mean, if you're going to with the hero everyone looks up to, and trusts and all of that, then that's another aspect of the Paragon archetype. And generally speaking, when we're talking about in M&M terms, we're talking about the power set.
Got you. Okay.
But there is that role as well.
Got you. Oh, look at that, Paul.
Yeah, I ran a game a couple years ago called a Superman for All Seasons, which featured paragons from across the multiverse and included characters like Invincible from Invincible and Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings and Princess Leia from Star Wars, and characters that everybody looked up to and inspired the most hope is what I was looking for. Like Aang from the Avatar universe.
Right.
Got you. And so then, but for our purposes today, we are talking about we were talking about both, clearly. But we're also the Paragon archetype as a power set is so that's a very interesting conversation to have with people around the table if they're creating a hero, just to be sure that they're not limiting themselves because they're not going to be a paragon of virtue, but they may need to use the Paragon power set, right?
Right. Exactly.
Got you.
There are tons of characters that use that power set that aren't necessarily somebody we should all look up to. I kind of wanted to. I saw a suggestion in chat, and I kind of want to open the conversation up. Do we think Thor is a paragon?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I think in a lot of ways. I mean, he sort of fits the overall power set. I mean, he's a strong flying guy who's really tough. So I'd say he's probably short of a lot of sort of B and C list characters, Marvel's closest thing to a paragon. I mean, apart from like Sentry, who was deliberately intended to be an homage, Paragon character, and a lot of other characters like Gladiator and Hyperion and others who are again homage / knockoffs. I'd say that Thor is probably the most mainstream A-list, sort of Paragon-like Marvel hero.
Got you. King Snarf asks a question. Here's a question. Rules power-wise, what differentiates a Paragon from a powerhouse?
So I think, and Alex can weigh in on what he thinks the difference is, but I think the key thing is that Paragons are slightly more rounded as characters, so that they have usually flight and some kind of enhanced senses or some other little extra shtick in addition to being really strong and really tough. Powerhouses are just strong and tough. They're tanks. They're big. They're usually kind of slow, but they are intended to just be able to take a ton of damage and dish out a ton of damage, and that's their thing.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest difference it comes down to some leadership abilities that the Paragon has that the Powerhouse doesn't necessarily have. So advantages like leadership or inspire, or if you want to build a power that's like a favorite environment. When you're near me, we built a couple of those for the Untold Stories project.
Got it. Yeah, She-Ra qualifies, do we say?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
She-Ra and
yeah.
He-Man are both Paragon types. You know, their movement abilities are externalized in their mounts, but otherwise basically the same.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so if I'm building a Paragon, or if I'm using the is there really a differentiation? Like, what am I considering specific to Mutants and Masterminds when building a Paragon?
I think that the key things to take into account is where the characters' strength and toughness are relative to their power level. They should pretty much be about at the limit as far as that goes. Generally speaking, for a Paragon, and this is another slight difference between Paragons and powerhouses,
Mm,
I tend to think of Paragons as being fairly close to even in terms of their attack and damage capabilities, or their defense and toughness capabilities at power level, roughly, maybe slightly shifted towards strength and toughness. But powerhouses tend to be a little more heavily shifted towards strength and toughness, so that
mm.
they're really strong and really tough, but they tend to be a little less accurate and a little slower in terms of their defense. Whereas Paragons tend to be a little better at that.
Got it. Sorry, I'm reading chat here. If extra human flying brick is the definition we're going with, then Thor is correct.
Yeah,
Sure.
indeed.
Super DuPont. I'm reading SC Pilot's discussion
That
about
sounds. I know that's not true, but it sounds like the mascot of a chemical company.
it really does. It does. Yeah. Super DuPont come to take your farmer away from you because their seed blended in your carbon.
Super DuPont have a big tire.
Right. I like that. Good to see you, friend. We are going to be talking about our event with you. Don't Kill My Characters heading out and say got to go, but we'll be sharing more detail about that here
Mm-hmm.
in just mere minutes. But always good to see you, and thank you for stopping by. Let's see. Mastermind of Poop says, does this make sense to you two? I do an 8/12 or 7/13
Mhm.
shift for Paragons personally. Gotcha.
Something like that.
Yeah, assuming power level 10.
Right.
Oh, I see. SC Pilot is okay. So Super DuPont is the French
Ah,
version
I see.
of Superman, the
Okay.
parallel. Bonjour.
He's a lot judgier than Superman.
Right, a little snotty.
Yeah.
Just a little snotty, yeah.
Why have you let this cat get stuck in the tree?
Right, exactly. Why don't you look when you're crossing traffic, you idiot? I see. Super DuPont is a
Parody character.
of
Gotcha.
course, uniquely French.
Of which there are many. Yes.
That's right. Of which many, yeah, exactly. Now, Nate had mentioned something in chat. Is Bizarro
Mm-hmm.
the Paragon power set?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
basically.
thought.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Except he shoots ice out of his eyes and fire out of his mouth. And
Right.
Yeah,
In
right.
many versions, yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I want to just pause us for a moment. This is an important thing, I think, to bring up, and it's going to be controversial, but I need people. I need people in chat to clip stuff. We are funnier than funny ever funnied, and or we say very poignant, moving things, and so you clip them, and share them. By gum, you get me all worked up.
Right.
And I hate getting worked up in the summer. But yeah, so do me a favor, friends. You can do that on Facebook. You can do it on Twitch. You can do it here on YouTube, as though it's the only place. You can do it on
Right.
YouTube. You can do it all over the place, and just do it, and share those clips. And once you do, if I see that you've done it, I'll say something nice about you.
Almost certainly.
I have nothing to give but nice compliments.
So Troy Angel Arroyo brings up that Paragon versus Powerhouse to them feels like Paladin versus Barbarian in terms of.
Oh yeah, is that I saw that. Now is that a good?
I can see that.
Comparison?
I think playing a Paragon offers a lot of the same challenges of playing a lawful good Paladin for everybody else. where you could very easily fall into the stick in the mud archetype if you don't play very intentionally with
Yeah, super
sort of
buzzkill. Yeah.
Yeah.
the virtues and the values of the Paragon.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Awesome. And then, are you guys familiar with Golden Bat?
I am not.
There's also Golden Bat from Japan's Kamishibai, or paper theater.
Hmm.
Not familiar. I do love, I keep a little pad which I write down, pop culture references or movies or cartoons and books and things. I've written that down. I want to check out what that's all about. My favorite bit of Bizarro lore is how the three-boot Losh Colossal Boy,
Legion of Superheroes.
thank you, is a giant who shrinks. His people were kidnapped by Bizarro Brainiac, who captured the city and put it in a bottle. But it's huge. Great.
That is a deep cut, King Snarf.
That's
Is
nice.
the Bizarro Legion of Superheroes. That's...
Exactly. So David Bullock asks, do you feel power origin is an important differentiator or irrelevant in the Paragon?
Interesting question. I don't know that it's all that different. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I don't think it matters as much. There are some that lend itself very well to the Paragon, but I think you're okay no matter where the power comes from.
Yeah, I tend to think that a lot of the Paragons are more about what they do with their powers rather than where they get them from. I think that you get a certain amount of poignancy from the notion of a lot of Paragons having, either that sort of strange visitor, quality of not been around here, effectively, immigrants, to Earth, or the, like the kid, who, gets to be the grown-up hero, those kinds of things that give them a certain sort of innocence. But I think that it is more about how the character is than, where their powers come from.
Welcome, Duke. Good to see you, friend. Doctor Strange.
I tend to agree that finding something that is thematically something that you can tell a story with is always a great idea.
Agreed.
Agreed. I like that Superman's a farm boy from Kansas, but also like the world's most powerful illegal immigrant.
Right.
And trying to figure out where home is and like the sort of conflict between his cultural identity and his adopted identity. And there's just a lot of fun, what does it mean that I'm here? Like, I'm the sole survivor of my planet and I've been given a second chance. What do I do with that? That feels more to me like the interesting question.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Comrade Paul in the chat. Gotta love it. Okay, let's see. The Parson family. So
they said from Sentinel's comics.
Sentinel comics, yeah, are great examples of Paragons. And is Doctor Strange a Paragon?
No.
Yeah, not by power or by...
Nope. Or personality.
Or personality, unfortunately.
Yeah, a little kind of more self-absorbed.
Stephen Strange is a, like a lot of Marvel characters, a redemption story. Strange, obviously started off as kind of a terrible person.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was really only until he hit rock bottom because of his, accident and his disability that, he started to turn around his life. So, he certainly has some good qualities. Of course, he's a hero. But I don't think he's, one of those characters that, people look up to and emulate necessarily.
Now, here's a question, an interesting sort of, are there heroes that have made transitions out of one sort of archetype to another? Is that a thing that happens? Yeah,
it does.
Definitely.
It does.
Yeah. Especially as storytelling has deepened and become more complex over the decades.
Yeah.
In regards to the superhero genre.
Yeah, to use the example folks in the chat are mentioning, for example, Martian Manhunter definitely started out as kind of a Paragonish character, because like so many, he was basically inspired by Superman. But the modern version of him emphasizes a lot of his other powers, like his shape-shifting and his telepathic abilities.
Yeah.
and have definitely made him much more of a character who comments on the notion of being an alien in our world. And
Right.
whereas Superman thinks of himself as a human, basically, culturally, John Jones is very much a foreign character
Mhm.
who is alone in a very foreign world.
Right. And Paul, you do make a good point. I think that we've got Paul mentions, for those
Yep.
who are listening and not watching, I think we have to determine the difference between Paragon as the game mechanic and Paragon as the narrative term. Homelander
Indeed.
qualifies as the former, but not the latter.
Exactly so.
Yeah. So think in those terms as well, and let me see. Here's a great question from Gene. Gene, hi, good to see you, friend. Glad you're here. What types of villains will be good for ongoing enemies for Paragons?
Well, I always love the classic Lex Luthor. Sort
Brains
of battles
versus
through.
Brawn match.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they're basically, let's see, there's that, the Brains versus Brawn matchup, which is also a character who ideally is someone that the Paragon's powers are effectively not very useful against. I know the modern version of Lex Luthor being somebody who had a certain amount of legal immunity made it difficult for Superman to do anything about him.
Right, because he was within the law. He couldn't be touched. Yeah.
There's definitely the mirror opposite villain, Bizarro, for example, who is basically the character who's a bad guy who has all the Paragon's powers.
Or General Zod, where you're the bad guy with
Or
way extra training.
Right. The Phantom Zone villains are also a great example of that. There are villains who, if the Paragon has a vulnerability, there are villains who target that. Magical villains were a great example for that for Superman, or villains who have kryptonite powers like Metallo.
Oh, yeah.
So if your Paragon has a weakness, build a villain around that that targets that.
Well, that could be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Especially if it's somebody who feels like they've been wronged by the Paragon's actions.
Right.
And have been ignored by the system. That's one of my favorite
villain
archetypes.
Yeah, this kind of fits a little bit to that. What David Bullock mentions, the nature, versus nurture, which I think is what he meant to say here. Via another person from the same place, grew up with, not the idyllic,
Michael Rosenbaum, Lex Luthor.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
And of course, sort of tangential to the magic villains are the, like just the characters like Mixelplick, who are just so cosmically powerful that it doesn't matter, that the Paragon has powers. Power level X, bad guys.
Yeah. So the King Starf mentions reality warpers.
Yeah.
And power drainers and other characters.
They don't care how super strong you are.
Right. Yeah, very interesting. So would also any kind of, it feels like mech, kind of like, anybody who's not leaning into their own powers set, they're kind of strapping it on, or what, as it were. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's there are two interesting spins there. One, the Deuce mentions, basically mind controllers, or just, anything that is a challenge that you can't, super strength your way out of. Even just situations where, and this plays up on the other aspect of the Paragon, where the character has to be inspirational, and like talk, literally talk someone off a ledge, or, convince, somebody to, put down their weapons and stop fighting, those kinds of things. And like a lot of characters, it's great to occasionally give the Paragon opponents they can totally cut loose on, and just give them a legion of robots to smash, or things like have the sorceress bad guy animate a bunch of gargoyles so that they characters can just smash them to smithereens.
You want them to have that moment where they're like, I live in a world of cardboard.
Right.
I rarely have the opportunity to fully cut loose.
And I'm gonna,
Yeah, and to sort of ramp that up, those moments where it's the innocent villagers who are possessed by the whatever, and when you punch them in the noggin, you're punching,
right.
old granny cheese curd or whatever.
Right. You don't want to reduce them to a fine red mist.
Right.
There was a Superman video game for Superman Returns where Superman didn't have a health bar, Metropolis did.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought that was a really cool mechanic to play with, where you couldn't be defeated, but if you didn't do your job right, the city would
your city would be destroyed.
Clever. Wow, that is a very clever way to manage that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I don't know. I find
that could be an interesting. If we ever talked about solo M&M, that could be an interesting.
It would be an interesting mechanic to adopt.
Yeah, absolutely. And King Snarf, I don't know, sir, friend. I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about that. Mixius Piddle-ick?
Mixius Pitlick.
Mixius Pitlick.
At least according to the animated series, which I think is canon.
Right. So. There we go. That's really got me thinking, Alex. It's such an interesting approach to because it really does illustrate the real problem there, because when anything can be destroyed around you and you're the most powerful thing in the world and you like the stuff around you.
Yep.
Being the strongest guy floating out there in a big, celestial dust cloud of things that you loved is kind of a bummer. Superman 64. Let's see. Cobra Commander Razgul. Mm-hmm. Lex Luthor fusion villain would be perfect for a Paragon Nemesis. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Non is a mute Kryptonian criminal.
Mm-hmm. Yes, third of the 3 Phantom Zone criminals from Superman 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I didn't know Ursa. I knew Zod, of course, and I didn't know Non either. But are they still floating around in some geometric?
They're still stuck in the. Actually, there was just a big Phantom Zone arc in the Superman comics that featured pretty much every Phantom Zone character they've ever done in the entire history of Superman. So, folks who are Phantom Zone fans should check it out. But yes, Ursa and Non and Zod and everybody is in it basically.
Yeah, Man of Steel had a lieutenant for Zod named Feora who was really cool.
Yep, also a character from the comics.
When I was a young kid, I was seeing that spinning black. Was it a square or a diamond or something? But screaming.
Yeah, that's kind of a fun representation of the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, it was definitely distressing to me. It
was.
Yeah, very much so. And they felt very much like they were in prison, in space, going somewhere.
Forever.
Interesting. I'm a big fan of the Airbender, just canon, just the story generally. I wish that they'd make a live action film someday. But
given the Netflix series, who knows? They may.
They haven't to date. So I will disavow any mention of it. But I'm curious, Paul. At some point, it would be interesting to kind of see. Maybe I'll have to check it out, or what episode, or for me, watching. I love Legend of Korra too, and I'm gearing up for a rewatch. But
they actually do a terrific job with the antagonists in Legend of Korra.
Love that. Another point for the Thor Paragon argument: Superman has Parasite, Thor has Absorbing Man.
Yep, that's another great Paragon villain. Is the power thief, somebody who can steal or copy your powers, or the fact that the Paragon is so powerful is actually a detriment because you're just that much more of a target.
Got it. So like the Rogue Miss Marvel comparison, is that
Yeah, it's also a good example.
Very interesting. I got a little nervous about Absorbing Man. I just thought, as a body of mist, I kind of hang out there.
You don't want to mess with Absorbing Man.
No.
Although if we threw you and Absorbing Man first, it would make it a lot easier for us to deal with them.
All right, because then we could just sort of vacuum him up or something.
That's right.
And then Troy and the Absorbing Man are in the same Phantom Zone, or Kirby vacuum bag.
I don't want to be trapped in some kind of desiccant, like swept away, like some, Changer's puddle.
We'd have to pour a couple of cups of dry rice in there.
Exactly.
Then we have to figure out how to separate you from the absorbing man parts, and that's just I don't think
Yeah,
it's worth it. I think
that
we
gets
just put
problematic.
that vacuum cleaner in the closet and call it a day.
I know that's what ends up happening. I mean, I've heard.
Yep.
Let's see. Devious says it's used arguments based on humorous reconciliation between physics, biology, and the abilities of
This is Larry Niven's infamous "Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex" essay, which I will leave as an exercise for our viewers to search out and read if they are interested in hearing all of the reasons why Superman and Lois can't possibly have sex.
Yes.
Robot Chicken did it in 2 minutes. Go check out.
Yeah,
go look up the
they
Robot Chicken
did a
version.
very
So-
succinct and there you go.
Yeah, and I think the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, exactly. Do your own research. I want to get this on a t-shirt, frankly. I do indeed. Let's see. Ocelot from Metal Gear.
Sure.
I'm not.
I have no idea who that is, but sure.
But yeah, but SC Pilot
Why not?
mentions it so clearly. Senator Armstrong type villain is a good villain for a Paragon. Oh, Metal Gear. Okay. Oh, so yeah, so like a political rival or somebody who's kind of in the system working against.
Oh, as folks have mentioned, and it comes back to the Lex Luthor thing, the Paragon's ethics, are definitely one of their limits. And so characters who are, have some kind of legal protection, because they are an authority figure or they can't be proven to be a criminal or something like that, does give them, some kind of advantage, over the Paragon. That's definitely one of those things you have to make sure your players are on board with. And that they're just not going to say screw it. Although then you can always let the chips fall to where they do in your game. But usually it's a good idea when that happens to be, willing to hand the player a hero point and say, do you really want to do that?
Right.
That's kind of against your character's nature,
Oh, okay, interesting. I mean, not to continue on a conversation, but okay, so Superman has a red sunlight in their quarters.
Sure.
So,
I mean, just as there are problematic issues, it's a comic book. They can make up any kind of reason why it's not a problem.
That's right. I love it.
Clark spent a lot of time practicing when he was 13 to 15, like we all do.
Right.
He control himself.
Yes. And,
that's why it's the Fortress of Solitude. Nobody else is allowed to go
there. Bachelor Superman. Meteor Man. Is Meteor Man a Paragon hero? I don't know who that is.
Depends on the version you're talking about, because there are a number of characters by that name. But yes, possibly.
Potentially, SC Pilot. Instant add water. That's funny. Contrary to popular belief,
Robert Townsend,
I am a fluid, yet I'm not water.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not all fluids are water or liquids, for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. So there was a time.
Yes. This has been widely parodied on the internet as what is now referred to as the Superman is a dick phenomenon.
That's right. That's
great
right.
phenomenon.
Yeah.
That's right.
And very different in comic book stories in the 50s and 60s, especially on just honestly covers, where Superman will be doing things like mocking people's, pain and suffering.
Right. Yeah. Just as you can imagine, any sort of new, like you watch any new show, like things don't kind of gel for a bit until, But, clearly he's evolved.
Yeah.
Let's see. My chat is acting real weird. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. It's fixed. Okay. Meteor Man from the movie. Okay. The movie Meteor Man. Okay.
Yes. The movie Meteor Man.
The movie.
All right. Homelander and Omni-Man and most Viltrumites. Viltrumites. Okay.
Yeah, definitely bad guy Paragons.
Got it.
And Invincible's a good guy Paragon who does his best.
Okay, there we go. Someone asked about Invincible earlier, and I hate turning Superman bad. Yeah, I'm with you,
Yeah,
Gene.
I'm
You
not
know,
really a fan either, but
yeah. Will Strong is a
I'm
Paragon.
okay with bad Paragons. I don't like Superman being turned bad.
right, that's also fair.
It just, it just seems like, I mean, I get the compulsion to kind of mess with that perfection and to kind of turn it on its head and be a little irreverent and whatever. But not for me. There was another thing here. Where did I see that? Was it Nate? So Captain America has Paragon qualities were just not
Mhm.
just not the powers. Would that be a contrast between the Paragon archetype and what we
Mhm.
consider a super soldier?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in
I
the
would say so.
basic Heroes Handbook, we have Patriot as the Captain America archetype underneath Paragon. That's a power
Ah,
set that you can take when you build a Paragon.
We do.
Um,
We do.
got it. Got it. Holy smokes. I literally looked at the clock and I'm like, okay, great. We got a half hour. And then suddenly we do not.
Right?
Well, gentlemen, another great conversation, and one that, one of my favorite things about doing Mumamo all these many years is that the conversations never end. It's not the definitive, like it
No.
continues on, and folks are invited to come hang out at the Atomic Think Tank, which you'll find at atomicthinktank.com. And it's our community hub. We talk about all kinds of stuff. And if you're a fan of Green Ronin, it's a great place for you to hang out. If you love Mutants Masterminds or some of our H titles, or you just like us, you'll get much of that and more
Mhm.
at atomicthinktank.com. Steve, what's going on in the Steve Kenson cinematic universe?
Well, I have been working. Like I said, finishing up with Valiant stuff, and now that is off in editing, and so now it has been moving on to other projects
He says
that
ominously.
we can't talk about.
No, we can't.
And yeah, and getting ready for Gen Con, which
That's right.
is
Just
like in a month, which is
it's
crazy.
minutes away. Minutes away. We're gonna have a lot of fun there. We'll do a deeper dive into what we've got planned for Gen Con. We've got some fun stuff planned. I'm really
Yeah,
excited
me
about
too.
it.
Looking forward
And
to it.
everyone, you're gonna want to pay attention. I'm just saying. Awesome, Steve. Fantastic. Alex, what do you have cooking in your world? So many things.
Yeah.
Lots of things. This Wednesday, I'll be running a one shot, quote unquote, over on the Untold Stories Project, featuring some Titan City characters and a really, really good story, if I do say so myself.
Awesome.
And then on July 12th, we will be doing an actual play, which I think is it's the day after Superman comes out. So I feel like it's got to be like a Centurion story of some kind. I got to come up with something.
That'd be fun.
Thematic. Just because I love Centuria and having something to do with her. We'll figure out something, but we're looking for players for that. So
Nice.
And I'll also be at the Columbus Book Festival on July 12th and July 13th. So if you're in the Columbus area and you want to stop by, I'll be there with, I think, 70,000 people. It was crazy last year.
Wow.
Wow.
Sizable event.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then I'll be at Gen Con, and I'm running 4 games, and we have a panel. So if you're going to be at Gen Con,
come by.
Mutants Masterminds has a bunch of fun stuff coming up.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Oh, and there's another Astonishing Adventure coming out very soon.
Yes,
Even
I was going to
better.
mention. Yeah. What did you say, Steve?
I said even better.
Oh, even better. Yeah, that's not the title.
No, it is not.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, the title is The Jordanau Mystery, and it features a group of heroes stepping into the German invasion of Poland to put a stop to some monsters looking for access to a secret portal.
I see.
And it offers you plenty of opportunities to punch some Nazis.
I like the sound of that, all of that. Hey, before we jump into what's in the tank, I do want to say, so Gene mentions this question. Will you guys do an actual play soon? And no, we're not going to do it.
Is July 12th soon enough?
Yeah,
in 2 weeks. I hope it's soon enough.
It's going to be fun. Now, Alex, you're running the game, right?
Yes.
Nice. And so the people that will be cast in that actual play are members of the Cape and Cow Club. And the Cape and Cow Club is one of the only little corners. It's the only little corner of the Atomic Think Tank where folks pay for a little extra goodies. all the other stuff that we're going to be talking about in just a minute, free, just free, good, fun stuff.
Yep.
And the for $8 a month, you can be a part of the Cape and Cowl, and you get even more good stuff. But it's just not as free. But they'll be cast in this actual play. And I'm sorry, Alex, did we talk about what it was, or is?
We're definitely going to do something with Centuria and Centurion, and maybe Superior as the villain. We'll get into some.
Okay.
We'll do some
I like
Paragon
Speaking
stuff.
of punching Nazis.
I like it. So
Right.
there you go, Gene. We're going to do that at 6 p.m. Eastern on the 12th. So be there.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Anything else for the good of the order before we transition to what's in the tank with our buddy Devious?
I think we're good. I think the Devious will have a chance to tell everybody about all of the great reasons why they should check out Cape and Cowl Club. So
That's right. Absolutely. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for hanging out yet again, and we'll be talking to you, and we'll of course be back here for next Monday for Mutants Masterminds Monday.
Mhm.
And it's not like you guys are leaving; you just are off the hook for hanging out.
Yeah, King Snark gets a hero point.
Ah, right. Nice. I love that. Very good. This champagne room, indeed. Bye, guys. Listen, friends, the Atomic Think Tank is really the place to be. We're going to get into all the reasons why with our buddy Devious in just a moment, but I want to take a look at, is it July already? Almost one day away. We've got, you see that big purple star there? 6 p.m. Eastern, actual play. Gene, you should put that in your journal. We'll be doing that. Now, this talks about all the Thursday action. In addition, on Thursdays, we do Thursday on at 5 p.m. now, 5 p.m. So Thursday just changed to 3 p.m. to match our Memo time. And the Get Tanked with Troy has been moved ahead. And so now it's 5 p.m. as opposed to 4. Gives me just a minute to breathe. But that's where you get to hang out with me. It's gangbusters. It's literally masses amounts of people hang out, get all kinds of conversations going. It's a lot of fun. It's a little mix between some, work and reminders and just pure fun, silliness, and it's a really groovy thing. I dig it, and you are welcome to join. It's really just a Zoom meeting. You just go to theatomicthinktank.com and you hang out, and we talk. And it really is the perfect place for people who are, let's say you are somebody who is, you're waiting for something from me, or you've got an idea, or you want to run it. Maybe you're a new live streamer, whatever it may be, collaboration, a plan for world domination, whatever it is, you will be entertained, and you shall have audience, and we all sit and talk and have some. It's really great. Yes, and more non sequiturs than you can shake a pogo stick at. I've never pogo sticked. I never have. I should try that at some point. Thank you, Michael. I do love it too. The mid-century modern is it's kind of my favorite aesthetic. I like it. It's got a fun vibe, and I made this, so I'm particularly proud of it. Listen, enough is enough. It is time for What's in the Tank with our good buddy Devious. Devious, hello, friend.
Hi.
There we go. There you are. How are you, my buddy?
Well, birth is a curse, existence is a prison, and life is a long, miserable, tedious march towards death. But I'm doing great. How about you?
No. I think you pretty much nailed it. I forgot something here, and I don't mean to subvert you, but I got to share a couple things that I almost forgot.
Uh-oh.
So we have only 7 hours left, and I know that this is a Mutants Mastermind stream, but I also know people are fans of Fantasy Age, and maybe you don't have the second edition collection, but you want it, and the reason that you want it is because it's on sale. The bundle of holding is there's only 7 hours left, and this is the Fantasy Age second edition collection for $19.95. It's like over a 70% discount. You get
it while it's hot.
Fantasy Age
Definitely.
second edition core rule book. You get the Fantasy Age Techno Fantasy. You get the 3 Fantasy Age Second edition adventures. Those are the Lair of the Horned Giant, Menace of the Gravy Warrens. It's grave, it's not gravy. And Return to the Valley of the Whispering Titans. So
That
there you
sounds
go.
like a great way to get onboarded into Age.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, it is. You're gonna love it. Now, here's the thing: they say when one bundle closes, another bundle begins.
Oh.
This is the Hummel bundle. It's the roll big or go home. It's not just the go home bundle. It's the roll big or go home. Basically, this is unbelievable. I'm not just saying this because I'm paid to say things like that. This is 51 titles, TTRPG titles, and we're talking big time titles. Avatar Legends, the role playing game, Art Talsorian's Cyberpunk Red, Transformers, and Modern Age. You get 51 of these titles. If you were to buy them all separately, it would cost you $1,227. If you were to buy this bundle, $15 or more. Look at us hanging out there with Transformers and Avatar and all these cool kids. I like it. Savage Worlds, Punk is Dead, Dishonored, The Wild Sea, Warhammer. Good stuff. Oh, I want to check out Spire. Call of Cthulhu, of course. They came from beneath the sea. I like that. Oh, I love that. Yeah, Shield Maidens I love. Dragonbane. Look at all this stuff. Good stuff. These are like the best sellers of of our space. This is the who's whom of TTRPGs. You get all that for $50 or more. 57 items. I said 51. There are 57. That's wild. And here's the other cool thing. One of the best nonprofits, Extra Life, which I'm a big fan of, a charity. They are the beneficiaries of the bundle, and so yeah, I'm super excited about it, and you should be too. Kobolds Ain't My Baby. I want that so bad. If you
out of curiosity, what is Extra Life support? What do they get?
So Extra Life is a
donate their time and
nonprofit
money
that
to?
started as a it's a Children's Miracle Network hospital fundraising program that empowers the gaming community to make a difference in the lives of local sick and injured kids. Participants fundraise.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. And
it's rolling those math rocks for a cause.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And but here's the thing. Oh, did I type that? Nope, I didn't. I'm not sure if I did this already, but I'll do it again. Click the link. It's in chat. But if you're like me, so here's the thing. When you're busy in the biz, up to your eyeballs in biz, you got so much biz that you can't even pay attention to what's going on elsewhere. Like I just haven't had the time to look at any of this stuff. And in one fell swoop, I get to basically have a whole library of stuff. And for some reason, my chat in Restream has reset. And so if you have a question or if something has popped up and I've lost it, so the history is wiped for me. So ask it again. But yeah, so like I said, when one bundle closes, another bundle opens, and you want to dive right into this one. Just pay $50 or more. 57 of the hottest titles known to humanity. That's not nothing.
That's amazing. That's
amazing.
A great deal.
Awesome. All right. We are done with that, and now we get to talk about what's in the tank, my friend. Thank you for that moment to share some exciting stuff, and we got more exciting stuff to talk about.
No problem at all. I think it's a great deal, and there's a lot of great games in there. I'd be willing to definitely plunk down that amount of money for the opportunity to try it out. Like I think Michael in chat said it's a smorgasbord. You get kind of a little bit of everything,
Yeah, you do.
So many different genres to choose from, and so many different game systems to try out as well, the mechanics of. So
I've wanted to try.
It gives a good cause.
Under
That's the
Hollow
best of
Hills, I've
all.
wanted. Yeah, there's some just gangbuster stuff in here. And again, it's the big time. And so yeah, that'll be fun.
Big time.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get into it, buddy.
Sure. All right. Well, what's going on in the tank? This is the final day of Pride Month. It concludes, but it goes on in our hearts, of course. We featured John Kent, who came out as bisexual in the 5th issue of his solo comic, Superman, Son of Kal-El, where he was along with Jay Nakamura and kissed him. A little bit, few more shots of the happy couple there.
There you go. On this last day of Pride Month, yeah.
Last day of Pride Month. In the tank, articles wise, we have Paul Rua with Historical Heroes, Hunter Wally and the Legend of Fearless Nadia. He's taking a look at, he was telling me a little bit about how I believe it was an Australian actress who made it big in India as in kind of a superhero movie genre thing. Next, we have visitors guides, and one of the great things I love about Emerald City and Freedom City is they kind of have a players only section at the very beginning of a visitors guide for their cities. And there was a really great video that was done by a YouTuber by the name of Astral Marmot, basically on creating a visitor's guide. And this is another one of the Grand Theft Article series where I listened to her video and put that together. And it basically says on how to, basically how to create it, what you should aim for. And I also go into different tools that you can do it with.
Cool.
There's some little, let's see, 1 second. It's more towards the bottom here. But it talks about, what types of histories, but there's free tools. Home brewery I want to touch on because David Bollock has put together a simply smashing, amazing tool with home brewery in basically creating a very Mutants and Masterminds like product. So the formatting is amazing. Everything just looks top notch. So that's one thing I wanted to touch on right there. It was mainly set up for people who wanted to make, that other ampersand game and Pathfinder games and make it look like that. But he has really gone into and done some incredible work. So thank you very much for that, David.
Nice, David. Thank you for all that work. That's awesome.
Yeah. There's also other tools on there like Canva, Photopea, GIMP,
Neat.
free resources, Google Docs, different things you can do to make your own visitor's guide for your own players in the city that you create for your game, if you want to do that. And that's, since I saw it in Emerald City and Freedom City, I think it's just a really great thing to do for your players. So they kind of have an understanding of where they're from and what's available and what that particular city is like.
Oh, and it's fun to put all that
definitely,
stuff together. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry. I'm backtracking a little bit here on the Historical Heroes, Hunter Wally and the Legend of Fearless Nadia. Basically, you can see I love the
so those
feel.
aren't pictures of Kate the Great.
Oh, they are not, but I think Kate Great could definitely rock the cosplay on this.
Or Madam Great, as I've taken her,
Madam Great. There you
That's
go.
right.
But no, the really great article is also Big Nate put in a couple articles as well. He did just a brief rundown of top 10 mythological beasts, kind of revisiting last week's Mumamo on historic and mythic characters.
I like
and he put in an article on kind of an adventure on to enter into the underwater extravaganza.
Cool.
We also have a number of extravaganza entries. Matt Mabry, I just want to say, wow, Matt Mabry has put in, I think, 4 total out of the 8 of the entries. He's a machine.
Absolutely.
God bless him.
Great.
Keep going, Bubba. Awesome.
Keep
also,
going, Bubba. I want that on a t-shirt too.
Okay, keep plugging away.
Keep plugging away,
also,
Bubba.
Brenton Hudson did Wayfarer.
Hey, very cool.
Lovely artwork in there. Subaquatic character. So, if you want to peruse Wayfarer, Brenton Hudson did a really good job there. One moment. But let's see. In the news, let's go ahead and go to, of course, this is this Mumamo, but
It's
we
very well.
also have DKMC
Yes.
is doing superhero shenanigans,
Yes.
but they're not just doing it on Wednesday this week. It is 2 days in a row.
Oh,
The
nice.
first Tuesday, tomorrow,
Okay.
and Wednesday. The guest GM is going to be Sam Sarver, Sam the Man. He is going to be GMing, taking the place of Claude while Claude gets everything moved. But it's
Yeah.
not just the first and second. He's doing it 1 week after that, 8th and 9th, and the 15th and 22nd as well. You are going to get a super amount of super shenanigans.
That's incredible. That's great. That's great. Look at those beauties. I love them.
I think it's fantastic. Oh yeah, love the team that they have assembled here. All great role players, all fun, all engaging. Definitely go watch them. Definitely worth the price of admission, which is free. Doesn't cost you a dime.
That's right. And if you don't like it, your money back. Yeah.
There you go. And next, of course, we have Mumathu, is what I'm calling it. It's Mumamo Redux. Is basically where Claude, who's normally the GM for DKMC, but he's taking a little break. He's got to get everything moved. I believe he has a show this week. I am not sure. I wasn't able to confirm with him, but I believe he does. I know he's very busy with the move, but you can always let me know, and we can let folks know whether or not it's going down. But
if you don't end up seeing it, you know that he's moving.
Yeah, and he's a fantastic guy. Really, really good. Really love the streams he does. Definitely worth a watch. Of course, on Thursday after Thursday, we have office hours.
Now 5. I haven't had a chance to change this yet, so my apologies, but I'll do that. But it's 5. It's 5 now, and 5
okay,
Pacific.
So 5 p.m. and I need to change
1 hour later. Yeah, just to give me a little breathing time is all I need.
Okay, not a problem. Have to hit the head and whatnot. And of course, on July 7th, the reason I put it in this now is because by next Mumamo, which is beyond this, it'd be a little too late to let people know. But that is when the next episode of Golden Squad is coming out.
Nice.
It comes out for you guys on the West Coast, 9 a.m. It's about noon on the East Coast. He's going to put out a new episode. The link is right there. If you want to click on that, it'll open up Spotify for you, take you right to it. The special features that we have this week, I put all of the underwater extravaganza entries together so you can take a look at them. And there they are. We've got the article I did for Submerged Supremacy, basically crafting aquatic heroes. Nate has the Echoes of the Past. As I mentioned before, Wayfarer from Britton Hudson. Matt Mabray, boom, the Furrydom Legion, Elementa. Paul Rua did the Deep Six, in which, I love the Deep Six. The Deep Six is a 1960s adventure TV series.
Yes, that's right. This is so great.
He put together.
I love it.
It is amazing. It's like Challengers of the Unknown from DC, or Terranauts. It's really great stuff.
Lovely.
And of course, Matt Mabray. Not, knocking down headstones, blowing out headphones, doing the job.
Knocking down headstones.
That's right. It does bring us to something very special.
Whoa. Ooh, look at that.
It is the time
and Ronini
of the Green Ronini.
Lovely.
Who will have won?
Who?
And remember, this is all chosen by random.
Yeah.
Matt Mabry certainly did kind of hedge his bet there by doing 4 of them.
Right. He's really wanted to,
absolutely 100% random. The winner is Big Nate.
Hey, Big Nate, this is your week, buddy. Everything's coming up.
Like you said earlier, everything's coming up Big Nate recently.
Yeah,
that's
he's
right.
really doing this stuff.
Basically, Big Nate, you just need to contact Troy, let him know what PDF you want from the Green Ronin store. Just give him a holler. Congratulations, Big Nate. Woo!
And you'll get it.
Do you want to give him a toot? Do you have your tutor handy?
I do. I'm sorry. I'm a 5-year-old. I really am,
Oh, you clipped out.
Did I? Am I clipping out now?
Yeah, you clipped out.
Oh, can you hear me now, though?
No,
Wait.
I can hear you now.
Did you hear that?
There you go, Nate. That
There you go,
toots
Nate.
for you.
Little toots for Big Nate.
You have been tooted.
Everyone, drop your
Little
toots in,
for Big Nate.
drop your toots in chat for Big Nate. Little toots for
But
Big Nate. I
that
said.
that is what's in the tank this week. Final week of Pride Month.
Final
Fantastic,
day, yeah.
great stuff in there. All free for folks to come get it. And congrats one more time for Big Nate.
That's right. I want to throw this out here real quick. Paul Ruiz says, here's the thing. For anyone who's ever thought, I wish Mumamo could go longer. I've got so much more to say and discuss. Get in the tank. I couldn't have said it better myself. There's so much opportunity to collaborate and share and do new things. And then you're going to be like, wait a minute, I have an idea. And then you'll say, what? I have a platform to share that idea, and other people who will love the idea. And the other thing I think that it's important to mention is all these articles and these stat blocks and these things that people are contributing and putting into the tank. It's like a library. You can use them. It's a resource for you. It's meant for
One might
you.
even say a Freedom City library. Do you see what
Hey, I like it. I like the sound of that. And so, yeah, come on in there. And then you get to add your own unique spin on things. And, you know, one of the things, one of the emergent kind of behaviors that has come out of the tank that I really love is, like, you'll have an idea, Devious, and you'll write an article, but then that'll inspire Paul to write an article himself, and he'll expand on an element of that. And then Nate then writes an article, and we could do such, I mean, like, we would have no end of content if you focus just on one article and what had happened when you inspired other people to do the, you know, to react or write an article in reaction to that. So
I love
incredible.
It when fun, and just when, you know, sometimes even if all you do is give feedback about an article, you don't have to. You can be a lurker. That's no problem.
Yeah.
But if you can either just give a thumbs up, or if you have a thought about one of my articles or any articles in there, go ahead, put that in the comments. That's, we love that. We love getting feedback. It's amazing.
Here's the deal. It's not just like, well, I think this could be better if you used the 10-point font or whatever. It's a really getting into the meta of things, and, you know, and exploring by questioning and sort of, you know, challenging, but not in that, like, it's not like it happens on the internet. It's a different world in here. It's so nice. You should come in and check it out.
Supportive.
That's
too.
right.
I mean, everybody's been super positive, super supportive of almost everything I put in there. There have been disagreements, of course, which is natural, but, you know, everybody walks through it, talks through it, gives their reasons, and that, you know, that's what I love about the atmosphere here.
That's
Everybody's willing to converse and collaborate.
That's right. And so to get there, you go to atomicthinktank.com, and you will get taken to just 3 short questions, and they're really short. It's not a lot. But but if you don't fill out those 3 questions, you will not be accepted. As one person today, the very first person that I ever didn't allow into the tank, the first person. And so, yeah, but they're welcome back. They just need to fill out the, you know, and when the other thing too, just not to put too fine a point on it, but lurkers are welcome. You don't have to be out there, you know, being a cheerleader for superheroes, or, you know, producing prolific content. You can, and you may be inspired to. You may find yourself, despite being a lurker, inspired to do that. But you can also just hang out and read and stop by every once in a while, get sort of inspired, fill up on all the new stuff. But never are we going to be like, you must talk or do this thing or whatever. You just have to answer those questions, and then you can hang out, and then you can either be inspired or just listen and read and have some fun.
Yeah. Or just come join us in the chat. You know, if you got a question, that's what that's there for. You've got many, many peers that are very, very well versed in Mutants and Masterminds. So if you have a question about the system, bring it.
Yeah, mini peers and big peers and all kinds of things, and little toots too.
Toot.
There you go, friends. Well, Devious, I think we've done it. I think we've
I live for that.
We plowed right through it, and now it's time to. I think it's time to say goodbye.
I think it's time to bid you all a fondue.
A
Have a
fondue.
great week.
The fondue. I like it. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.